False Start, a college football podcast for everyone and everyone else. I'm your host, John Buhler, lead writer for Fansided. I'm joined today by a man who knows what goes down when you hang out with Charlie Murphy, who is not afraid to wear high heels to play basketball because he's got the silkiest shot this side of the Mississippi River. Cody Williams, content director, fansided.com. How are you?
Just bathing in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, baby. Just living the dream out here. I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Blouses.
That's right.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some JLN with Prince later today because why not? I'm
Hmm.
banged up. Cody's alive too,
I'm
which is
always
great.
banged up, brother.
This is 30. I mean, this is 40. Like once that movie came out, I'm like, how much is this going to relate to me?
Too much is the answer. Too much. Yeah, I played two slow pitch softball games last night, and my body's feeling it, which is not great.
I've walked a lot the last couple of days. It's not doing so great. But we've obviously false started here. Instead of like this is 40 or this is 30, this is 70. So we've on to our first 15 to start with. You're doing great, sweetie. Hulu doesn't want anything to do with your North Carolina Tar Heels. Bill Belichick and absolutely not Michael Lombardi. They do not want to give them a docu-series. It's devolving into a bit of a train wreck in Chapel Hill. I've tried to stay away from the story as best as I can. I know you're doing that to protect the little fragments of mental health you have left, but
Yeah.
we'll touch on that, and then we'll touch on docu-series we wish we would have instead.
Yeah, so I mean, let's start with the Belichick of it all. It seems like both North Carolina and Belichick are kind of eyeing an exit strategy. From what I understand, Belichick is like looking for his options to exercise his buyout, which I believe if he leaves, it is only a $1 million buyout. Um, and I'm not sure I think the figures are a little higher if North Carolina were to fire him. However, it does seem like they are doing a little bit of digging into some cause. There's recruiting violations that are popping up, and that's college football for you. We've seen it a million times. When you want a coach gone, you don't want to pay the entire buyout. You find something. You find something that's going on, and that seems to be the stage of the proceedings we're at in Chapel Hill right now.
You know, Instead of a McDonald's bag like it's Jeremy Pruitt, it's a Bojangles bag or a cookout bag.
That's right. No, it's from Jordan. It's like from Zara or Ulta or something.
I know, just whatever it is. But they look really stupid making fun of my Falcons. It's
Oh
great.
yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
I did see that like as North Carolina, I believe is on a bye this week. There's a chance that Belichick may be out before the Cal game next week.
Yeah, and wouldn't shock me at all. Would honestly make me quite happy. I don't know where North Carolina goes from here, like honestly, because and I was reminded, you had mentioned that Bubba Cunningham does need to go. I don't disagree. He should have fired Hubert Davis last year. I feel like he doesn't have a spine, and this kind of fits into that. But at the same time, this was not a Bubba Cunningham hire. Like he kind of had his hands tied and was forced to okay it. But the board of governors and the boosters, they were the ones pushing for Belichick, and that like it's not a decision that Bubba Cunningham necessarily made, but it is another reason for him to get fired because he should have looked at this and said, "Brother, no, this is not going to work." And now we're stuck with a 72-year-old man who's just trying to stroke his ego when it turns out like, and this pains me to admit, but like, I think we've kind of definitively said who's the GOAT, and it's Tom Brady. It's not Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's undeniable. And I was trying to sit here thinking like who the booster is, and I'm like, oh, let's just blame Charlie Loudermilk, but he's been dead for 3 years. So
The Loudermilk Estate. How about that?
the Loudermilk estate. That's when Charlie Kelly gets some money.
That's right. The louder milk steak
Steak.
estate.
Speaking of Prince, I literally came across this on like social media today. In the music video for Raspberry Beret, the drummer looks like Charlie Day,
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe Charlie Day is like
a time traveler.
yeah, a time traveler or just like immortal, like one of the vampires in Twilight or something like that. You know what I mean? Like they just never like whatever age they turn, they never change.
I mean, he's kind of relatively the same age since 2000, but I mean,
Yeah.
Raspberry Beret came out in 1985.
Look, man, I'm just I'm leaving all my options open these days. You never know.
So yeah, enough of the Belichick stuff. Let's actually talk about what we want to talk about. Docu-series that
Yeah.
we wish Hulu or somebody else would pick up. I've got one. It's live from Diego Pavia's mom's house, or just Diego Pavia.
Starring Theo Vaughn.
Yes, Johnny Manziel, Theo Von, his mom, Jerry Kill. It's essentially Seinfeld with Diego Pavia.
I also had something with Vandy down here and like definitely centered on Diego Pavia. But the college football nerd in me, like, I also want to see Clark Lee coach this team, man. Like I want to get behind the scenes of Vanderbilt football and like see what building a culture actually looks like. Like if we had gotten the Belichick docuseries, it would have been the opposite of whatever Clark Lee is doing in Nashville. And like I want to see that juxtaposition.
How to ruin friendships and alienate people. This is false start.
That's right.
Um, I'd like to see something with Matt Rule too, in the
Mm.
attempt to do that, where it's like well, it'll be very very Ozian, very Wizard of Ozian, basically.
Oh yeah.
He's Jeff Goldblum behind the thing.
That's right. No, another one I had is our boy Kenny D at Arizona State,
Yeah, I
Kenny
was just thinking about
Dillingham,
him.
and like he's just he's a force of personality, man. He really is. Like every time they show like a post game interview or something like that, I'm like, God, I want to like run through a wall for Kenny Dillingham right now, and like give like I would probably watch that before I went and like worked out like that docuseries because I'd be like, oh yeah, Kenny got me ready to go, hit my PR on bench or something like that.
Kenny D, the son of the Valley of the Sun.
That's right.
I don't know if I can top this one. This involves Kurt Cignetti. It's called Coach Sig Unfiltered.
Brother, I also have Coach Sig. I do not have as good of a name. Coach Sig Unfiltered Sig. But I mean, that's another one, just a force of personality that I want to see on TV, man.
He wears what he wears breakaway shorts all the time.
Yeah, it's 100%. He might have some breakaway shirts for all we know.
I know. It's all breakaway. Any trying to think.
I
The
mean,
Carson Beck would also be wild too.
yeah, the Snapchat Chronicles.
That's a great name.
Now the other one I had, and like you would have to go back in retrospect, but like I wish there were cameras following Texas this offseason through spring camp and fall camp, just to like see if there were signs that this Arch Manning nonsense was coming. You know what I mean? Like to like no props at all to Will Leach at the Athletic, but like he came out with the story like is he college football's first flop? No, he's not. Let's be very,
No.
very clear about that. But like on top, like the more importantly, like he has been a huge disappointment. And like there were no signs of that until the Ohio State game, truly. Like outside of him being unproven, like there was nothing like coming out of Texas's camp being like, "Oh, we're not sure if Arch is really ready for this." You know what I mean? Like so I would love to see knowing what we know now, like what led us to this point? How did we get here? Was there something preparation wise that we could have seen this coming for? Like obviously that's impossible. We would have to be Charlie Kelly time travelers to go back and do that. But I do wish that was something that we had.
Yeah, preparations A through G were all complete failures. Let's move on to preparation H or preparation Hookem, I guess. I did write something for John of the Dog saying, like, you know what, 6 weeks in, I feel really, really good about the Georgia quarterback situation
Yeah.
as opposed to like having Arch Manning here. Kind of compare, Beck leaving and how that was different. This is a totally
Yeah.
different thing. Everybody in Texas is like saying, "Oh, can we get Manning to start over Quinn Ewers?" And I think Sark kind of deep down, I think Sark knew.
Oh
I think
yeah.
Sark's known the whole time. And we watch a lot of college football. We pretty much watched every snap that Arch Manning played last year. We're like, I don't think he can really throw.
I,
And maybe I was more like into it that with like being jaded, like he picked a Texas over Georgia, but I was kind of like, there's an immense learning curve here that I'm
yeah.
not sure he's ready for.
No, 100%. And like I'm not like I will never say that the kid's not talented. I still think he can throw. I still think he's a good athlete. I just think that I think he might be, and I don't want to like be too harsh with this, but like I think that along with the physical learning curve, I think there's also a bigger mental learning curve for Arch Manning than we realize. Like I don't want to say like he's mentally weak or anything, but like I don't think he was ready for the backlash that has come with not being, the prince that was promised, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it seems like that is in his head. And I'm trying to remember who I was talking with someone at Fansided, and I can't remember who it was, but they like compared it to Markel Fultz and Ben Simmons. Like in terms
Jesus.
of like you've been able to do this thing, and Markelle Fultz is the better example, but like Markelle Fultz forgot how to shoot a basketball. And like that's what it feels like with Arch Manning throwing the football right now. Like it just feels like it's not quite there.
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt with throwing issues and stuff in baseball. Like I couldn't make the throw from like second to first or
Yeah.
something like that, or catcher. I don't know. I'm like the guy from Major League Three, three wooden fence.
Rube, man, Rube, yeah.
Yeah, downtown Anderson. Yeah, some choppers there, brother. I just feel like you're talking about like the family stuff, and again, I will always be Team Brady over Team Manning.
Yeah.
Brady is cool, and the Mannings are not cool. Like they're just there's like I will never. I would rather watch every Florida game than to watch the Manning cast ever again in my life, just because that Peyton Manning is just going to suck all the air out of the room. Part of the reason why Manning was not as successful as Brady in the NFL is because everything was paid for him in gold. I mean, yes, the Colts weren't like a great organization, but they had a fantastic GM
Yeah.
and a really good owner there in Jim Irsay, and they made it happen. Also some pretty good coaches there too. With whatever it is, Tony Dungy, Caldwell, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The I always felt when they got to the postseason, and adversity would hit, Peyton would like clinch. Peyton would get like tight. He wasn't comfortable in that spot. He wasn't about that grit. And I don't necessarily know if Arch is cut from that same cloth, but there seems to be some sort of thing where it's like, okay, there's a high pressure down and you have to make the play.
Yeah.
He's just not a third down player. And I think, it's hard to be a good college quarterback, let alone an NFL quarterback, if you can't do that.
No, 100%. And like I say like the yips thing, like the throwing thing, because like you look at his throws last year against Mississippi State and whatever Louisiana school that I forget every time. Monroe, was it
Yeah,
Monroe?
that's
Okay.
right.
Um, and like you look at his like the way he's throwing in those games, hell, you go back to most of his film in high school and you look how he's throwing. He's not throwing the ball the same way. His arm motion is completely different. And like it doesn't look like something that Steve Sarkisian would have taught him, to be very clear. It looks like a panicky throw.
It's like what happened to Bortles, man. Like he
Hmm.
had such a good throwing motion at USCF, and then basically once Hackett left Jacksonville, he just lost complete control of what he was doing. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is another guy that was like blue chipper coming out. It sucks when it happens and people like lose it mechanically, but maybe I don't know. It's in his head here, I guess.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think that there's a realistic possibility that we could see Arch Manning transfer? That's
No,
something I've kind of been toying around with.
yeah, I think he might go to Virginia
I could see that, man.
because Chandler Morris is about done with
Chandler
Alabama.
Morris got to be 30, brother. Like, there's no, like, we've been talking about the kid for like years.
His middle name is Bang because he's Chandler Bing Morris.
That's right.
Like, and I wrote about that. Like, maybe he's better off if he went to Duke, Virginia, or SMU.
Yeah.
And like the you're not taking like you're beating up on tomato cans in the ACC schedule as opposed to like, oh, I got to go play in the effing Spain. Like, I got to go do that. Now I got to go play between the hedges. Oh, now I got to go play in I gotta play. He's not even gonna start at Kyle Field, but like you get what I'm saying. Like
Yeah. I mean,
there's
he's
stuff.
playing in the Cotton Bowl this week, which I don't think he's particularly ready for, quite
No,
frankly.
no, we'll touch on that here in a second. So, the Arch Manning stuff actually ties in pretty good here to our next topic here. So let's move on to that with some do Host or do Host.
Hmm.
If Ty Simpson was named Ty Manning, would he be the projected number one overall pick?
Shouts to Joel Clapp for giving us that quote. Love that. Um, I'm gonna go do Haas two S's just because I think that the same thing that we said with Arch before things started to deteriorate with Arch, you and I at least were looking at this like, man, the NFL is continuing to value experience more and more and more. Arch Manning doesn't have experience. Ty Simpson doesn't have experience. And then you have guys like Dante Moore, who, yes, he's having his like come up. He still has a lot more experience from his time at UCLA than either of these guys do. And I think the experience factor would ultimately come into being Ty Simpson. He would be probably a higher projected draft pick. Like Ty Simpson has played his way into a first round conversation right now,
Yeah,
but we're talking, you know, maybe Rams, middle of the first round, Steelers, kind of in that range. We're not talking about him competing for the number one pick right now. And I don't think that would change. I think it would be about that same. It may be a little bit higher where we're talking top 10, but I still think that there would be talents that have more experience that would be valued over him.
And I'll take the other side of the coin too, Host 1S, but your point is very, very valid. It's for the reason that I think you make sense. It's not about the talent. It's there. We're seeing it. It's a lack of reps because every time we've seen somebody just not have that many starts in college football in the modern era, it comes back to bite you. Like Anthony Richardson, considerably.
The
Trying to think,
first example I can think of, and because it's close to my heart, is Mitch Trubisky. Like that was a
yeah,
big narrative about Mitch Trubisky, is he only had 1 year as a starter at North Carolina, and we saw how well that worked out.
yeah. I'm trying to think who else. But then again, some of these quarterbacks have had a lot of starts and they just stink. So it
Yeah,
doesn't, it
I
doesn't
mean,
even.
it's not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
Tyler
I think
Tyler Shuck can't beat out Spencer Rattler, and he's got more starts than anyone.
I don't know. He's like a lesser version of Mike Lennon.
Yeah, right. He has less neck, that's for sure.
Less neck and more hair and more time on his side. This is full of story. But the reason I'd say Duhast 1S is like, look, they both had the 5-star pedigree coming out of high school. And Ty Simpson's dad, Jason Simpson's the longtime head coach at UT Martin. So like
Mhm.
he's been kind of groomed for this. When he was growing up, it's like, Dad, can I play for you? He's like, son, I think you're too good. I think you're not coachable. That's what they said. But I said like, oh, he's giving off the good vibes of Mac Jones, which I'm like,
Mhm.
and I mean that positively. Like I said, there's some sort of Matthew Stafford sort of thing. He's a lot more mobile than I anticipated.
Mhm.
And I think more importantly, I think he just takes to coaching really well. And I think the fact that he's thriving playing for Ryan Grubb leads me to believe he'll do really well in an NFL offense. But again, I think I think he's got like one more year of eligibility after this, if I'm not mistaken. I
I believe
think
so. Yeah, I think
it's
he's a redshirt junior, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, it's like him and Gunnar Stockton, like they need to play one more year and we'll see what happens. But there
Yeah.
there have been positive signs with both of them. I think with Simpson more so, it's like just more precise.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like to your point about coaching, I think one of the things that's, kind of changed my tune on it. It's no secret I was very down on Ty Simpson coming into this year. And what I saw in the Florida State game didn't make me feel any better because the biggest issue was he was off time. Like everything was just a hair too late. And in college football, you can't be a hair too late. Like that's when you end up not being able to compete at the highest levels. Sure, you can beat the lower level teams on your schedule by just being more talented than they are. But when you're playing against the Florida State, when you're playing against the Missouri this week, when you're playing against Vanderbilt last week, if you're off time, it's not going to go well. And the fact that he's been coached to the point where he's fixed that and he's gotten on time, he's sped his clock up. Like that's not something a lot of quarterbacks can do as quickly as he has, and he's remedied that very very fast.
I think that's a great point here. But in the NFL, you got to be ahead of time. You
Yeah,
can't be late.
100%.
You can't be late on time. You got to throw with anticipation. You got to throw to a spot in the field and expect your receiver to be there.
Yeah.
The amount of Matt Ryan tipped interceptions I saw, my as a Falcons fan, I'm like, those were not his fault. And again, like I feel like I have to tell everybody in the that from like the tri-state area that this guy's a Hall of Famer and they don't believe me. And it's like, well, Eli is. I'm like, you can shut the hell up.
The one of these things is not like the other.
No,
And
no,
it's not the
no.
fact that Eli has two Super Bowls, I promise you.
No. It's like just I'm Hall of Fame. Just put them all in, man. I don't really care.
Yeah.
It's a museum. I'm not gonna vote for this stuff. But it's interesting how like we've kind of come like almost like a complete 180 on Ty Simpson over the course
Yeah.
of like 3 weeks.
And
Been
he's
pretty
earned it
impressive.
though, to be
Yeah,
clear. Like he's earned it. I don't know what else to
no, like
say.
since the Wisconsin game, he's like a different player.
Yeah, 100%. And like that's a credit to him. That's a credit to Grubb. That's a credit to DeBoer. And I think like the more you watch the in-season development of Ty Simpson, the more you have to wonder. There were towards the end of last year, especially when things were kind of falling like tumbling down for Alabama, there were some like rumblings, murmurs, not really like a full-blown report, but that like Jalen Milroe wasn't exactly the most coachable guy in the
Yeah,
entire world and didn't really like buy into what DeBoer was selling. And looking at Ty Simpson, you got to wonder if there's some credence to that because we didn't necessarily see the same level of development from Jalen Milroe that we're seeing in a 5, 6 week span from Ty Simpson.
it's a weird. Like the last thing I'll say before we move on here, unless you got anything else, is like Ty Simpson was 5-star coming out. Miller was 4. I think Bryce Young was a 5-star as well out of
Yeah.
Mater Day. Milrose from, I believe, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, Simpson's from Tennessee.
Right.
It wasn't like it was like we were kind of like being told that like this guy is like a no talent, like a no talent ass clown. Like, oh, he's barely a 4 star coming out of the Bulls school, like Mac Jones. But I'm like, maybe just the allure of what Young and then what Milrow had to offer physically, just I don't know if it trumped what he was doing, but it seemed to have muted it. Maybe made him not feel as confident. But it's like, no, dude, you're just as good as that.
I do wonder if some of sticking with Milrow to the degree that they did last year had to do with, I think like I was also critical of Alabama's offensive line coming in this year. I still don't think they're perfect, but they have improved quite a bit from what they
Yeah,
were a year ago. And I mean, you look at Alabama's run game a year ago, it was dog water, man. Like they could not move the ball on the ground. There's a reason Justice Haynes was like, get me the hell out of here and get me to Michigan. Like there's a reason that happened. And if I'm not mistaken, they had like Alabama had to work to keep Jam Miller. Like so,
yeah.
like there's a reason that these running backs were like, man, I can't do this. And the offensive line has improved, but when you're playing with a poor offensive line that you're worried about, having a mobile quarterback as mobile as Jalen Milroe and what he like his specific skill set, I think that probably was the trump card in that.
I think that's fair. And I think if I asked Jill, I wonder what Jill Milrow's thoughts are on us living in a simulation as a society, because we are doing a simulation.
That's right.
Uh, every Thursday we always do this because it's fun and it always changes. I always try to get ahead of it, and it
Hmm.
changes. It changes like every day. And I share this with you so we can get on the same page. All right, this is the playoff projected playoff field based on percentage chances of making it through FPI.
Hmm.
Basically, they look at the team now, what they've got coming up, and like in some sort of Bill Connolly savant formula, we arrive at these percentages.
That's right. I was gonna say shout out to Bill C because he's the reason they update every day is because he's just always crunching them numbers, man.
All right. So I'm gonna run through our 12 first four out, and then we'll figure this out. So Ohio State is your number 1 seed, projected Big Ten champion at 89.6 playoff percentage. Number 2, Oregon, your projected Big Ten runner-up at 86.9. Alabama moved up today. They're at 3, the
Hmm.
projected SEC champion at 79.1. Miami would get the last first round bye as the 4 seed, your projected ACC champion at 78.1. Indiana is the 5 seed, projected Big Ten at large at 72.1. Ole Miss 6, your projected SEC runner up at 71.7. Your 7 seeds, Texas A&M, SEC at large is 66.1. Georgia comes in at number 8 as the last team to get a home game in the first round. Projected SEC at large at 60.7. Number 9's Texas Tech, your projected Big 12 champion at 53.8. Oklahoma gets in at 10, the projected SEC at large at 45.6. Your group of 5 champion out of the AAC is the Memphis Tigers, projected to get it in at 39.7. And your last team in is the Missouri Tigers as an SEC at large at 34.4. Your first 4 out are Michigan, Vanderbilt, LSU, and BYU, and their percentages are 33.6, 31.8, 30.2, and 29.4. And the next group of 5 team would be, once again, your Old Dominion Monarchs,
Hell
projected
yeah.
Sun Belt champion at 19.8.
Love it. Love to see it.
Um, it's wild that like Memphis has moved up because it's the percentage is almost 40 now, which is I think if you're in and around 40, you got to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I would be interested because there is a big game in the American on Friday night with South Florida visiting North Texas. If
Yes.
South Florida were to win that game, I would be interested to see like immediately what the FPI numbers look like after that.
And then North Texas, I believe, is still
Yeah.
undefeated too.
Like
So like
actually whoever wins that game, I would love to see, what that looks like going
I
forward.
think and I think that's totally fair. So our first round matchups would be let's work through this. Now it's Cody's time. Cody's time to shine. Uh Indiana is hosting Missouri in the 5-12 in what should be a basketball game. How are you feeling about that matchup?
It maybe should be a basketball game, but that seems fun as hell. I'm here for
Yeah.
that. That's a lot of fun. I'm gonna go Indiana. I just like I've said it before, and I'm not backing off of it. Like the Hoosiers have leveled up from a year ago. This is not the same team we saw last year. This is a better team with a better quarterback, better in the trenches, and Missouri, although I like their upside, I'm not sure that they have necessarily like playoff, like winning a playoff game type of potential.
Yeah, these two teams have beaten the tar out of their opposition and stuff, but I don't think they've really played anybody worth a damn up to this point, particularly Missouri. They have one of the softest schedules
Yeah,
in the SEC, but they're going to play Alabama this week and they got a shot. If they
yeah,
win that game, this bracket's going to look wild if that happens.
yeah. God help us. Well, God help you. I'm not going to be here to do it on Monday.
It'll be okay, but I won't be doing this. We'll be doing this again on Thursday, so it'll be fine.
That's all right. That's all right.
Our 6-11, Ole Miss hosting Memphis, regional rivalry, but I think we both know how that game's going to go.
Yeah, I don't think I like Memphis. I'm not trying to disparage Memphis. I don't think they can hold a candle to Ole Miss. I think it's just a different caliber of athlete we're talking about. I think there's some teams in this field that Memphis could potentially at least give a scare to. I don't think that team is Ole Miss.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. I'm like, who could they scare? Like, I think they could scare Texas Tech. I
I think
think
they
that
could
they
scare Texas Tech. I think they could probably scare Texas A&M, quite frankly. I think that they could,
scare.
depending on what game they played, like if you got into a shootout with Indiana, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
You could maybe beat Georgia if they play their food. Like
Yeah,
that's
100%. And like no, like Georgia's upside is undeniable, but Kirby Smart teams over the past couple years have played with their food a little bit.
yeah. 7-10. We got an old Big 12 game that's now an SEC game with Texas A&M hosting Oklahoma.
I
That's
feel
really good. That's really good.
that's a really good one. I feel like we're probably gonna I would go Oklahoma in this game. Just because I don't think that Texas A&M's offense would be able to hold up against Oklahoma's defensive line, is where I come down to. Like I think that when you think about the way Texas A&M has been playing offense with the run game complemented by deep shots down the field, I don't think those deep shots down the field are going to be there because I don't think they're going to have time to throw them, quite frankly.
I'm also leaning Oklahoma here for two reasons. One, I think where you'd be seated here, Oklahoma probably gets in as like 9-3 or a very or 10-2 or something like that, whereas A&M's 10-2, maybe they're 11-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're 11-2. Maybe they lose in Atlanta or something of
Yeah.
that ilk. Oklahoma may have a little bit more urgency. I think, you bring up a good point about the Oklahoma pass rush versus the A&M offensive line. I think just if someone needs to make something happen, I'm going to trust John Mateer a little bit more than Marcel Reed.
Yeah, 100%. And like I think it would be a good game. I'm not saying Texas A&M's getting blown out by any stretch of the imagination. I just think, and like to your point about the schedule, like Oklahoma's going to be more battle tested by this point. Like they just are.
Yes. And then we got my game, Georgia hosting Texas Tech. I That may be a fun matchup on paper. I don't think Texas Tech has a chance.
So I do think Georgia wins. I will say the one way where this could get a little sideways for Georgia is you mentioned it, and I know you talked about it on Dawn of the Dog quite a bit, but the offensive line is still an issue for
Yeah.
Georgia right now. And Texas Tech has like legitimate dudes on the defensive front. David Bailey is going to be a first round pick in the NFL draft. And then the other guy, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's going to be like a top 100 pick. So like they have legitimate dudes on that defensive front. And like if Georgia's offensive line issues aren't completely remedied by the playoff, that's something that Texas Tech could take advantage of. That might not even still be enough to win the game, but
No.
it is something that, could turn things a little sideways.
I think like there's a chance that Monroe Freeling will come back, maybe Ernest Green plays. These guys have been getting a lot of experience on the offensive line, but you're asking a lot out of Bo Hewley. You're asking a lot out of what Dontrell Glover, who's a true freshman.
Yeah.
It's Drew Bobo and
I was about to say you got the
Mahone.
stalwart there in Bobo.
I think the other thing is, for as much as Jerry Maguire has improved the overall stock of Texas Tech, I still don't know if they're going to be a punishing running team. And
Yeah.
again, the attrition of that, where I'm like, Georgia will break your will. I don't know if Texas Tech has. I don't know if Texas Tech can go into an SEC environment like that and win, but maybe they could, but they're not winning this matchup.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm still going with Georgia. I just wanted to point out, like, I wanted to not, just completely bury Texas Tech in this.
All right. So here's what we got here. The matchups for the national quarterfinals are Rose Bowl, number 1 Ohio State versus number 8 Georgia. Your
Mm.
Cotton Bowl, number 2 Oregon versus number 10 Oklahoma. number three, or your Sugar Bowl, number three Alabama versus number six Ole Miss, and then your Orange Bowl, number four Miami versus number five Indiana. The Rose Bowl fascinates me, and trying to think how that would work. Copy this over to you real quick so you can see it. Yeah.
I was trying to write it down, but I'm not typing that fast right now.
No, I was. It's fine. Here we go. I'm showing this over to you. I think Georgia might get Ohio State in this matchup. I think there's a way where like Ohio State has not lost a game yet.
hmm
Georgia's, lost two. There's a little more desperation there. And Ohio State becomes what they don't want to be, which is Oregon last year. So, I mean, I projected Georgia would beat Ohio State, but if you want to put Ohio State moving on, that's fine with me.
No, I'm still gonna go with Georgia on this one. I look at Georgia and I look at Ohio State. Like I don't like it's a coin flip game, to be very clear. But at this point, I still trust Gunnar Stockton a little bit more. And by the time we get to this point, Gunnar Stockton will be a hell of a lot more battle tested. I also I'm not going to get into the whole buys are a bad thing conversation, but we saw buys bite some teams in the ass a little bit last year in the playoff.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that Georgia will be able to keep momentum going based on these projections, they wouldn't have played in Atlanta. So they got their bye week and then got to get their feet wet in the first round. Like I think that really works in their favor.
Yeah. And like last year with the buys, like Georgia was beat up. I think that's
Yeah.
that's a different anomaly, but it really hurt Oregon considerably.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else it really did a damage to. Penn
I'm
State? No, no,
no, because that's a
no.
different beast because they were playing SMU. So like,
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
that's whatever it is. Cotton Bowl, Oregon, Oklahoma. This is a little bit closer than I think it would be. I think just attrition's going to get to Oklahoma here.
That I'm torn on this one because
Yeah.
the attrition is a very good point. However, my counterpoint to that would be how many times in the postseason or in a big game have we watched Oregon, even under Dan Lanning, get smacked in the effing mouth, man? And
Yeah.
like Oklahoma is a team that smacks you in the effing mouth. And so like I worry about that for the Ducks.
Okay. Let's have fun here. Let's pick because this isn't being written. This is just being recorded. So let's
Yeah,
pick.
100%.
Oklahoma is going to win.
Oklahoma moves on, and that'll take us to the Sugar
Yeah.
Bowl with Alabama versus Ole Miss. I gotta tell you, I don't know what the hell to do with this game.
Me neither. I think I picked Ole Miss to win this game is what I initially went just because I think there's we haven't seen Ole Miss play bad yet.
Yeah, and the other thing that I was thinking that was kind of like my slight lean was Ole Miss, but like it given Alabama's dominance over Ole Miss, it feels weird to say that. But the reason I was like mentally giving Ole Miss a little bit of an edge is I'm looking at this and I'm like, we've seen Alabama play really good football, but we haven't necessarily seen them in like high like in in like in the big games that they've had against Vanderbilt and Florida State to this point. We haven't seen them necessarily play like different styles of games. We've seen Ole Miss have to win multiple different ways. Like the LSU game was a hell of a lot different than any other game that they played this year. And like the Kentucky game where they found themselves in the dogfight, like you kind of like the defense wasn't playing well and you had to put up points with a backup quarterback who had no experience. Like we've seen Ole Miss already like face adversity and have to win in ways that make them uncomfortable. We haven't necessarily had the one time we saw Alabama get uncomfortable was against Florida State and that didn't really work out. And like we've talked about Ty Simpson making a progression since then, but then you go to the Vanderbilt game and like that was basically the defense just sitting on Vanderbilt and the offense doing enough to get by in that game. Like they didn't blow them out by any stretch of the imagination. And like, man, you're not going to just be able to sit on Ole Miss. Like that's not in the cards.
So Ole Miss moves on. Orange Bowl, Miami, Indiana. Kind of leaning Miami here because
Yeah.
it's at home.
Yeah, we're going to the U, brother.
And because we had three underdogs win, this is all messed up. So is it like okay, I think I got this right. So Miami is the top seed that advances. So they would pick the Peach Bowl, right?
Most likely, yeah. But they would
Okay.
also be playing Georgia, so maybe
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, they'd be playing. Okay, but yeah, I think they'd play Georgia because yeah,
Because
they'd be playing.
it'd be like
Yeah,
the I'm doing it by like what the matchups would be if it was just
yeah,
the highest seeds advancing. So it'd be the 1-8 matchup would play the winner of the 4-5 matchup, and then the 2-10 matchup would play the winner of the 3-6 matchup.
yeah. We got wild here, but I think it's Miami versus Georgia in the Peach Bowl, and then it would be Ole Miss versus Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, I think.
Oh, that's a good fiesta. I like that.
Um, that is that is just this bracket is just so busted. It's just
We love it.
unbelievable.
We love it.
All right. I'll let you kind of take the floor with this with the Peach Bowl. Obviously, you got Carson Beck going back to where it all ended for him at Georgia versus his alma mater in a way, and well, yeah, one of his alma maters, and he did graduate, so that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Um, Georgia's backyard. I gotta say this is really bad for Miami, particularly because you just played at home. Now you got to play effectively a home game for Georgia. I think Miami is the more talented team, but I think the matchup there gives Georgia an advantage potentially.
I'm gonna go Miami in this one for
Yeah,
for two reasons. One, I think that going back to the offensive line point with Georgia, like even if it does improve, it's still not going to be like world beater. And Miami has a world beater on the defensive front. Like their defensive line is the best in the country. It's unbelievably good.
yeah.
And that's going to be a problem. The other thing on the other side of the ball that does worry me for a little bit about Georgia. I know their DB room is talented. I know their DB room has flashed, but speed has given them trouble. And Miami has a hell of a lot of speed on the outside with a quarterback who can get them the ball.
This will be another terrifying like 4 point loss for Georgia. That's what it's gonna
Yeah,
be.
like it's not going to be a blowout, but like I think Miami just barely ekes this one out. Like and the obviously the Mario of it all in a close game that could give Georgia the edge that they need to get by, but just based on what I'm looking at so far this season, I got to give it the edge to Miami.
I was gonna say something, but I'll wait on this after you pick this next game. Ole Miss versus Oklahoma in Phoenix.
This is where I think attrition would get Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Like I after the SEC schedule that you had to play and you get into this game, like at some point you can't keep your foot on the gas for so long
yeah.
before you run out of gas.
And I think that's fair. That's why I was going to lead Ole Miss here as well. So your national championship is going to be, the Land Sharks at what used to be Land Shark Stadium versus Mario Cristobal, two Lane Kiffin disciples, with Miami playing another home game versus Ole Miss.
The
This is where
first
it ends
off,
for this.
let me say just real quick, the press conferences leading up to this game just a godsend. Everything we could ever want as college football media.
Yeah, I'm leaning Miami to win at home.
I am as well. I think like I've said it before, like I've said it I think for like the past 3 weeks. I think Miami's the best team in the country right now. I truly do.
I think that's how I've been feeling here too. And I was gonna say this last point, like the Peach Bowl between Miami and Georgia, like that's the national
Yeah,
championship more so
100%.
than like because even though I think Ole Miss could, I don't know if Ole Miss could beat Georgia twice in a row. That's a
No,
lot. That's a tall ask.
no.
And it's like, look, I don't think Oklahoma might maybe, but I think the Trojans gonna get the best of them. I don't think Ole Miss has a national championship ceiling this year. I could be proven
No.
wrong, but like,
No, they feel like they're almost like a step away.
yeah,
But I mean, still a damn good football team and surprised a lot of people, no doubt about it. Thankfully, we got on board the Ole Miss train just like right there at the end, like right before it left the station.
the last thing, if there's any team that was out, of the first four out with Michigan, Vanderbilt, LSU, and BYU, do you think any of them could make some havoc if they were in the playoff field here? Because I I don't think so.
So my inclination is still going to be towards LSU. Because I
Yeah,
do think I think the defense is for real. Like we've sung a lot of Ole Miss's praises. They held Ole Miss to 24 points. They just couldn't score. And I still maintain that if Garrett Nussmeier gets healthy, like if he comes out of their bye and he is healthy, like I think it was a core injury that he was dealing with, which news to Brian Kelly that is an abdominal and a core injury are the same thing.
that's
Um,
that's embarrassing, but yes.
Brian Kelly certified, not a doctor.
Yeah.
But if the offense starts clicking, like I do think this defense is legit, and we know what the upside of this offense is, and with Garrett Nussmeier when he's healthy. So I'm not saying they can win a national championship, but they could definitely like cause some havoc.
Since we're coming up on Halloween, Brian Kelly 100% dressed up as a doctor for Halloween 3 years in a row.
100%. It's the only way he can get the stethoscope.
Yeah, and he's just like, he's just, I know what I'm doing. It's like, you have no idea what you're doing. Don't
I
pinch me.
I'm gonna check your pulse, and he like puts your hand on your like his hand on your lower back, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing, brother?"
He's like, I'm gonna test your reflexes, and he comes out here with like a little hammer for a kid.
I'm gonna test your mental health, and he starts dancing.
That's back when we were smoking inside, man. That's what we were doing here. I was thinking about this. I think if I had to pick one team that could probably do it, like who could conceivably beat Indiana in the first round, I think it might be Vanderbilt.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would not count out Vanderbilt at all. And also to the point of our show on Monday, if Vanderbilt can still make the playoff, brother, they're right now by FPI, they are the second team out. So yeah, they can, hell yeah, they can make the playoff.
Yeah, they're only like what, not even to like 2%, 2.5% behind
Yeah.
Missouri. It's right there.
Yeah, they're right there.
Yeah,
Now,
and
don't they
there's,
play too at some point this year?
I think they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that I mean that's dude, I'm excited to watch more Vanderbilt football. Let's be clear about that.
I know. I mean, I don't know what Admiral Akbar thinks about that, but he thinks that this is a trap. It's a trap game. Trap games of the week. Our favorite squid versus the Auburn sucks Squidbillies thing. That's what this
That's
week's
right.
about. He's temporarily a Georgia fan before he's because full Ole Miss next week and two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our three games that we believe have upset potential on the horizon. I'm gonna start. Alabama laying 2.5 at Ole Miss. I don't trust that. I'm taking Mizzou.
Yeah. I have this game in JLN. I tried to keep the most of like the biggest games of the week in JLN as opposed to this, but definitely a trappy spot, that's for sure.
Okay, who do you have at three?
At three, I have Michigan going on the road to play USC. USC is actually a favorite in this game. I believe it's not particularly close. I think it's like 5.5 points, if I'm not mistaken. Um, I'm gonna go USC in this game and I still think Michigan's upside is still there, but this would obviously put them out of the playoff race if they were to lose this game. But the thing that I keep coming back to is USC's offense is legit. Their defense is fine, not great, but fine. And I think USC can reach a number that Michigan might not be able to. I think is really where I come down to.
I have this game in Jalen, so I'll get to it later
Okay.
there. But like this game, that game intrigues me too. At number two for me, I talked about this earlier. Indiana at Oregon. Oregon's laying 7.5. That's a lot.
There's a lot.
I will still probably take Oregon here, but I think they win by like 4 points or a field goal.
I can see that. Yeah. I have this one in JLN as well, so I'll get there.
We are flying by with this, brother. This is
That's
we had a
right.
hella great time. Okay, what's your number two?
Game I referenced earlier, USF at North Texas. North Texas is a slight favorite, -1.5, I believe, the last time I looked. And I'm going USF, man. I think that North Texas, I think, is a very good football team. But I think at the end of the day that USFA has the best player on the field in Byron Brown. And B, USF is battle tested. North Texas is not. No, like this is a big environment, a big road game that they're gonna have to go and play. USF won in the swamp, man. I don't think that's gonna matter. Like I don't think home field advantage exists when you're playing this USF team. I think Alex Galesh has this team ready for whatever fight they're gonna get into, and I don't see them falling victim to the trap. And yeah,
I'm gonna lean. I'm gonna take probably USF here too for two reasons. Again, like I think you mentioned, they're battle tested here. And I also think the fact that like look, we have a USF site there in the college division, and Joe Henderson works really hard. I'm not gonna root for his brother Ben because he covers Florida, but like this is good for the
I didn't
Hendersons.
realize they were brothers.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
so. Sure, maybe not. I don't know. It's Tampa. They're all family down there anyway.
100%. That's the real Brian Kelly family. That's the family we made along the way.
I don't know if you saw this. They put like a new video board there at Raymond James, and like the pirate ship blocks half of it.
Of course. I mean, I'm there for the pirate ship. I'm not there for the video board.
Yeah, Ben Henderson teaches a public high school in Tampa, so like I man's a saint.
God help him. That sounds like a brutal lot in life.
I think the worst part is I think he coaches. I think he's like works like plant, so it's like supposedly a good one.
That's good at least. That's good.
Yeah, the alma mater of Aaron Murray, Orson Charles, no Orson Charles, Orson Charles, not Orson Welles. Yeah, Orson Charles, Orson Welles Charles, Orson Charles Wells.
Uh,
He would have been a guy that like that's a dude to remember. We got to do that at some point too when you get back.
oh yeah, 100%. We got to remember some dudes.
You got to remember some dudes. At number one for me, let's be real, man. It's Red River.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. You may have this in JLN. Texas is laying 2.5 in Dallas. Either Vegas knows something. I'm gonna take Oklahoma here, and I still don't think that I'll know if Oklahoma's any good. I still think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna win because Matier might play, and if even if Matier doesn't play, I think Michael Hawkins Jr. will be better than Arch Manning.
Yeah, I do have this in JLN, but we'll tease that I have some similar thoughts.
Okay, and what's your number one here?
Florida at Texas A&M. If I'm not mistaken, Texas A&M is a 7.5 point favorite in this. I'm taking Florida to win this game, brother.
Let's
You
go.
look back at Texas A&M's schedule, and they beat UTSA, they beat Utah State, they beat Notre Dame in a shootout 41-40 where Ty Buckner couldn't hold the snap. You beat Auburn by 6 at home, which is the game I'm really looking at, and then you beat Mississippi State last week. Auburn is by far the best defensive line that they faced this year, and they gave them a dogfight and they slowed down this Texas A&M offense. Only allowed 16 points. Florida is more than capable of doing that, and I don't want to read too much into what we saw last week from Florida, but they did put up 20 whatever on Texas's defense. I think Texas defense is a hell of a lot better than Texas A&M's defense. If the offense doesn't just get Billy Napier to death, I think they can put up enough points and limit Texas A&M enough to win this game. This feels like a really trappy spot for Texas A&M.
Monkeys out of the bottle. Apparently, like I hadn't really thought about this yet, but like how I feel about Oklahoma is probably how you feel about Texas A&M. Like I don't really buy it.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M is a good team, but I just think they're a flawed good team. They're not the fifth best team in the country.
I mean, like I think we're living in a world where like there's going to be five SEC teams that make the playoff,
Yeah,
and maybe one of these two teams, maybe not both.
yeah, I think you're probably right.
All right, so we got all that with our trap games here, and I mean it's always a trap when you're hanging out with Antonio Banderas. Let's move on to our
That's right.
Antonio Banderas Bowl of the week. We're gonna make a shirt for this one day, maybe.
Oh God, yeah.
So we were in College Park, Maryland, for some OAR, and we were going to be going to Minneapolis for Purdue at Minnesota this week. Second time we've seen Minnesota this year, but we got to do Prince stuff. And then week after this, we're gonna go down to Stillwater and ride a pack of dogs for Cincinnati at Oklahoma State with some All-American rejects.
Dude,
I'm so
I'm gonna be riding Gator. That's what I'll be riding. Come on now.
riding Gator like that tractor that Tyson Ritter's riding in that music video.
That's right.
All right, so basically you have to explain to the starters what the hell happened. Like, because Maryland was winning this game for a while, and then Washington came from behind, and Antonio was unfortunately at fault here, and Mike Loxley was really mad at him for about 24 hours, but I think they're okay now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tale of Antonio talking to quarterbacks, which we've advised against, but still happens from time to time. It never works out, except for Washington. In this case, it did work out. But first, Antonio, after Malik Washington had a really nice first half and was, building a big lead for Maryland, Antonio went over and, somewhat, I was surprised by this. He showed some manners. He asked Loxley, he goes, "Hey, can I go speak to Malik?" And he was like, "Why do you want to do that?" And he said, "Bulldog," and just walked off. So he took that as permission. Um, and went over and talked to Malik Washington and said, and like was giving him a pep talk. And then like, he was trying to hit him in the shoulder pads, but he hit him in the head. And like, I don't know if it's concussion, but he might have jarred him a little bit. But Malik Washington at a certain point just didn't look the same. And that was post Antonio. Well, Antonio got bored on the Maryland sideline because the vibe started going down, and he circled around the stadium, went over and started talking. And obviously, he has the familial connection with me to cousin Damon, and he started talking to cousin Damon, and uh, cousin Damon determined that he needed to get the hell away from this blow up doll, and so he decided just to keep the offense on the field. And I mean, that's the story of the game. That's how it happened.
Yeah, all I could see with Antonio was over there banging on Malik Washington's skull like a bongo, singing "Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles."
He was in a half shell.
Yeah, he beat the Raphael, the Michelangelo, the Leonardo, and the Donatello out of his skull there.
Yeah, yeah.
We also, if I'm not mistaken, we tried to prevent Antonio from knowing that Demond is your cousin.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
he went to the House of Public, like he went to the Court of Public Records and found some family trees, some birth certificates, man.
he put on a tie in addition to his thong, and he just walked in there and looked at the birth of records.
That's right.
Oh man, but yeah, he was that was his. I think he was. I don't even think he realized he was at the best game he was at this entire season with whoever we're doing. Because like some of these on here, like some of these were really ugly.
Brother, we're going to Purdue, Minnesota this week. Yeah, some of these are hella ugly.
So Antonio wanted to go to Minnesota before it got too cold.
hmm
And
He loves the lakes, man.
he loves
Loves
the
them.
lakes. And he tried to buy the Twins, but the Pallets wouldn't sell to him.
They wouldn't sell it. They actually tried to trade Antonio, crazy enough. He wasn't even a member of the organization. They tried to trade him.
Yeah, he's also going up there because I don't think he can find the Vikings or whatever it is. Like they're
Yeah.
still overseas.
Yeah, he wanted to talk to JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, he wanted to talk to JJ McCarthy about some other things. But
Meditation.
med meditation. How do I get more chill and more worse at being a quarterback? I can't believe they paid him to fly across the pond. Like
It is what it is.
I felt so bad for Dylan Gabriel. He played well. His fiance couldn't get off work to come to the game. His parents didn't have passports. They couldn't fly from Hawaii. They're up at 3 a.m. local time watching this game.
That makes me feel worse for the Gabriels, the parent, than it does for Dylan.
Yeah, I know. Kevin Stefanski did some Luke Fickle timeout nonsense, and that was not good. But
Yeah.
so yeah, we are going there for Purdue at Minnesota. Antonio's cool with Fleck now, which I think is, color me shocked.
Did he
Barry
show you
Odom,
his new sweater vest?
no, he didn't. What does it look like?
Dude, so it is an actual sweater vest, which I was surprised by. Like I assumed that he was going to just not have one, but it is definitely a sweater that he cut the sleeves off of. That is
Yes.
100% a thing that happened. And it is also a Christmas sweater, because he knows it is about to get cold in Minnesota and he doesn't know what holidays are necessarily. He just knows that Christmas is cold, and so it's a Christmas sweater. And it's one of those where it's like the reindeer humping one another. Like that's what it is. It's just a sweater vest.
It's a welcome sign at Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his sister. Um, but let's be real. Besides getting to hang out with Barry Odom, which he's never really spent time with, the real reason he wanted to go to this game, is I think he just found out that Prince died, which is like
Mm,
couple
devastating.
years devastating, couple years late. So Antonio told me what he's going to wear to the game. I'm like, you were wearing a thong. He's like, no, party man. So
That is party man.
purple, he is party man. He's wearing a purple vest. He's got painting half of his face white, half of his hair green, and he's going to wear high heels and walk around up there, to honor Prince Rogers Nelson.
Yeah, I'm worried that the relationship with him and PJ Fleck might deteriorate a little bit
Yeah.
again because he's been practicing game blouses, and
Yes.
he's gonna say it no matter what. There's no doubt about that in my mind. If Minnesota loses this game and he's up in PJ Fleck's face saying game blouses, it's not gonna go well.
Yet the worst part about this with PJ Fleck is I don't think he knows who Prince or Batman are. So like he doesn't catch the references.
Not at all, man. Um, and we did have to talk Antonio down though because he loves lakes, but he also just loves boats. He loves rowing them, much like PJ Fleck. Like that's why we thought initially that they would get along. They both like rowing boats, and but Antonio wanted to bring a canoe for the sidelines, and I was like, brother, we can't do that. There's nowhere to row on the sidelines, and he said bulldog. And I left the canoe at home. He doesn't know that. He's probably going to be pissed at us for it, and God knows what backlash we're going to get for that.
And speaking of backlash, the fact he still doesn't know who Barry Odom is. He thinks Barry Odom is a contractor.
Yeah, 100%. He thinks Barry Odom and Lamar Odom are the same person.
Yeah, he asked if he's keeping up with the Kardashians, and
That's
he's
right.
just Antonio. He's got his phone that he calls people. Hold on a second.
Oh God.
Hola. No, no, you can't do that. I don't think you have legal grounds to do that. Okay. Bye, bye.
¿Cómo estás,
Uh,
mi amigo Antonio?
Antonio thinks when he goes to Minneapolis, every parking spot is his spot, and he saw the contractor Barry Odom park in a spot that he wanted, so he's gonna get towed. Oh, this is public parking. He's like bulldog.
They're gonna tow his canoe, man.
It's gonna be unbelievable up there. I think with if we gotta pick this game or something like that, Purdue's not good.
No, but they're not
Minnes-
bad either.
Minnesota's not good, but they're not bad either. I'm not ruling out a potential upset here for the Boilermakers, but I think that the Golden Gophers need to get right after getting their clock clean versus Ohio State. I think they bounce back and win here.
No, 100%. And like one thing I do respect about PJ Fleck is I think he coaches very realistically. He was not coaching to win the Ohio State game. Like he was coaching to keep it competitive. Unfortunately, failed at that. But like he knows that Minnesota's not going to beat Ohio State. And like
No.
if there was a chance, maybe you start coaching the game differently. But he didn't. And like he knows that Purdue is the game that you need to win. He also like PJ Fleck has done a tremendous job in Minnesota. Like when they're playing at home, winning the games that you're supposed to win. So yeah, I'm leaning Minnesota at home with the home field advantage in this one.
All hail the new king in town, party man, Antonio
That's right.
Banderas. Uh, I still think back to that, like, and we're gonna do that for JLN here. So we're gonna move on to like the last thing. We're gonna do game set blouses here with Prince for
That's right.
JLN. I'm gonna shoot. We're doing Party Man first because it ties in here. When they had that song in the Last Dance, I'm always gonna remember that in my apartment in Chicago. Like, can't go outside. Party
Yeah.
Man.
Party man.
All right. So, what game do you have for Party Man?
For Party Man, I've got Arizona State at Utah. They're bringing the Party Man to Rice Eccles, which doesn't really know a whole lot about partying. This is a hell of a fun game, though. I'm excited for this one. Um, might actually get to watch it during some wedding festivities because it's late enough in the evening that we might be in bed and I might be able to get to actually watch some of this game. So looking forward to that. I'm gonna lean Utah. I think it's going to be a close game. I believe Utah's a 5.5 point favorite. They may like it's going to be around like I think that's a great line, not a game I would bet because I think that's about right where it should be. But at the end of the day, I think that right now it looks to me like Arizona State might not have a gear that Devin Dampier does. And I didn't think I would say that, but like also this Arizona State team has looked a little less battle tested. We saw what happened to them in Starkville. Rice Eccles is another tough environment. I think Utah has a slight edge.
I have this game a little bit later, and I'll touch on what Prince song I'm gonna use for that. But I can get there. The Arizona State podcast asked me how Arizona State is doing this year, and I gave a very eloquent answer after watching the Yankees get eliminated for the postseason.
Dude, we love to see it. Vlad Jr., I'm about to root against you, but last night you were my hero singing The Yankees Lose with Big Poppy.
Yeah, that's like one of her teams. It's like the Diamondbacks, the Braves, and the Yankees. That's gonna her crossover there.
Got you.
So whatever it is, it's all about the fashion with the Yankees. And I'm like, okay, that's good for Party Man. For me, I've got Washington State at Ole Miss because Lane Kiffin's the Party Man.
Like Kiffin is the party man.
Yes.
And yeah,
Lane
I mean,
Kiffin,
they're getting loose on the Palouse too. Like, let's be clear about it.
yeah. They're drinking whatever that is. Hopefully, it's not poison. But yeah, I've got Ole Miss big.
Yeah. No, I do not have this game, but I will take Ole Miss in a decisive blowout.
All right, let's go crazy. What do you got for that?
Ohio State, Illinois, man. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life. And I fear for Illinois' safety in this game. Ohio State, although I do have my doubts, I do think it's still a very good football team. Illinois is a good football team.
Yeah.
and not much more than that. And I think we saw against Indiana the delineation, like things got away from them. They're not 53 points worse than Indiana by any stretch of the imagination. Things started snowballing, but they are decisively worse than Indiana, and they're decisively worse than Ohio State. I don't care that this game's in Champaign. Ohio State's going to win it big.
I do not have this game, and I'm right there with you. Ohio State's going to win by a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. I wish it was
Uh,
a better game, but it's not.
for me, I've got my game. I've got the Deep South's oldest rivalry with Georgia at Auburn. So the whole like dearly beloved thing. We are gathered here to witness this thing called life. If the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy. It's like because it's in this life, you're on your own. That's Hugh Freeze. You can't hang out with your golf buddies. And if Georgia were to lose, if you don't like the world living in, at least you got friends. He's got friends coaching on his staff. That's kind of why I decided with that.
I
And
like that.
Georgia wins by multiple scores.
Yeah, I have this game coming up in a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah. Who wore a raspberry beret that kind you find at a secondhand store?
Well, see, it turns out that seems that I was busy doing something close to nothing, but different than the day before. And I have Indiana, Oregon in this game.
Yeah.
And I think Indiana is much better than they were a year ago. I don't think that they're built to beat Oregon and Eugene, man.
No.
I don't think Oregon blows them out by any stretch of imagination. I think this game does stay pretty close, but I think Oregon does get this one.
I would ask you this, just from my perspective, assuming like Georgia beats Auburn and
Yeah,
Indiana loses to Oregon, Georgia would move ahead of Indiana would go behind Georgia, wouldn't they?
yeah, 100%. I mean,
Because like you have like a close loss to a top 10 team.
yeah, 100%. I mean, it ends up honestly being somewhat similar resumes, but Georgia has the better win with the win over Tennessee.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought process here. So I already picked that, and I've got Oregon to win but not cover. So
Yeah.
I
And
already got
I
that.
kind of agree with you. I think Indiana is more than capable of keeping it close, but the Eugene in like playing in the Autzen Zoo, like that's a factor here.
I feel that. So who wears a raspberry beret? That's what I got for Michigan USC.
Hell yes.
Because the raspberry beret that might as well be Lincoln Riley's visor.
Yeah,
And the part where he was talking about like the girl in the back of his hog, and he's like, she's kind of dumb. That's sure. That's sure and more.
absolutely.
And I'm kind of with you two. I'm going to take the Trojans to win and get back in the top 25.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a good slate of college football this week, man.
Yeah.
I keep missing good slates of college football. It's pissing me off.
If Michigan loses, they're on life support, but I don't think they're in as bad of a spot as Texas or Penn State is.
No, 100%. I mean, you still have the Ohio State game, which is
Yeah.
obviously hugely advantageous for you. It is also only your first conference loss, which has to be taken into account as well.
And if you hold serve at home and you beat Ohio State, I mean, you could get in, which is probably why
You could get into the
they,
Big Ten championship game theoretically because you would own the tiebreaker over Ohio State.
yeah, potentially. And then it comes down to the Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon of it all. It's
Yeah,
wild.
we'd be breaking down some tiebreakers, that's for damn sure.
We're not talking about Penn State anymore. That's great. What's the sound like when doves cry? What do you got for that?
Brother, how can
Some-
you leave me standing alone in a world that's so cold? That's what Hugh Freeze is going to be asking after this game because Georgia's going to be at the absolute dog piss out of this team. Auburn's not any good, man. They're good. I like the defense. I think that they have playmakers, but Jackson Arnold just isn't it. You missed on quarterback again, Hugh Freeze. And I think that Auburn's probably going to win 7 or 8 games, but this isn't going to be one of them.
I hope so. That'd be really cool for me. I don't think Georgia's going to overlook Auburn, even with Ole Miss
No.
coming up. I feel like there's just too many things there. Georgia will probably win something like 27-14 or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Georgia looked hella locked in last week. So,
Yeah.
and
So this,
that would have been a game where you could have overlooked things in
yeah,
Kentucky.
100%. I've got South Carolina at LSU
Mm.
because there's a non-zero chance that this is a favorite song of both Shane Beamer and Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly will grind up on his lazy Susan, and Shane Beamer loves this as much as he loves Weezer. And do. And this the sound like when doves cry, when when Brian Kelly screams because I'm taking a South Carolina on the
Hell
north
yeah,
side.
brother. I love it. I love it.
Also, Garrett Nussmeier gets to be a second round pick.
There we go. I did not have this game, but I'm actually going to lean LSU on this one. Um, I'm not sure that Lenore Sellers is going to have a fun time in this game. And not because of his any faults, but because Mike Shula is Mike Shula.
Yeah, I'm just saying like the loser of this game is going to be really sad.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Doves crying all over the place.
Who's going to party like it's 1999? If we have the same game, that'd be amazing.
So this one, I don't think we do because I think, yeah, you had this one in Admiral Akbar, but don't worry, I won't hurt you. I only want to have some fun. That's Eli talking to Kalen DeVore coming into Como, baby.
Yeah.
It's Alabama,
Yeah.
Missouri for this game. And I'm going Mizzou. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I think that this is a tricky spot for Alabama. I think that Missouri, to your point, yes, they haven't played anyone, but they have been beating the brakes off of teams. I also think that that's an advantage for Eli Drinkwitz and Missouri coming in this game. Alabama's had to put a hell of a lot on tape with the schedule that they played. Georgia and Vanderbilt, like you can't be holding punches in those games. Missouri's been holding punches. I would almost guarantee it. And you're gonna get the full barrage. You're gonna get the Como crowd behind them. And I don't think Ty Simpson plays poorly by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Alabama plays poorly, but I think Missouri just has more bullets in the chamber to be able to fire off in this game.
Yeah, like I said, Mizzou is going to dig through the ditches and burn through the witches. They slam the back of Bo Pribula, and they're going to win this game.
That's right, man.
Alabama, like they might go 9-3. They might be a playoff team. They've
Yeah.
got this schedule's brutal, but
It's Oklahoma-esque, like truly.
yeah. So the team that's going to party like it's 1999, that's going to be Arkansas at Tennessee. And you know what happened in 1999? Josh Heupel was wearing a Letterman's jacket in Oklahoma. Give me the balls, brother.
That's right, baby.
Um, and Peyton Manning's gonna be so excited because his alma mater won while his nephew didn't win. All right, who's doing something in the Purple Rain?
That's Red River, baby. Red River's
Yeah.
covered in purple this year, baby. Um, Purple Rain, Purple Rain. I think that's gonna be Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian crying in the Purple Rain, brother. Like I don't care who plays quarterback for Oklahoma. I truly don't. Like if it's John Mateer, it might be a blowout, quite frankly, in my opinion. But if it's Michael Hawkins, I still think Oklahoma wins this. I Arch Manning is one of the biggest problems. He's obviously the highest profile problem when it comes to Texas. He is not the only problem. The offensive line is not very good. They had to replace a lot from last year, and they didn't do like it's not working out right now. I said it. We were talking about the playoff simulation. That's a bad match. That's a bad matchup when you're going against Oklahoma. Oklahoma
Yes.
can take advantage of that, and Oklahoma will take advantage of that. And the last thing I want right now is for Arch Manning to have to be playing under duress.
No, I'd rather he just go eat a corn dog. They take him out at halftime. You just want to transfer, bud? Let's go get you a corn dog.
Dude, I could
We're
use a
gonna
corn dog right now. Hell yeah.
we're gonna go back to the family compound in Valhalla and sleep and feed.
That's right.
That's like the South Park episode with Mickey Mouse. It's like with the Jonas Brothers. I can do the Mickey Mouse voice pretty good.
Let me hit. You got to hit me with it now. You can't tease that.
Haha!
That is good. That is
The
good.
problem is it's all expletives. You're supposed to play with your panty rings. Well, Arch Manning. I don't know. I've got that extra piece of like cartilage in your ear that can do like voices and
Hell
stuff.
yeah, brother.
I'm just a nerd here. Yeah, so Purple Rain for me, that's Arizona State at Utah.
Mm,
And unfortunately, Kyle Whittingham's going to be crying in the Purple Rain because he's never going to lead the Utes to the playoff because they're
there we
going to
go.
lose to Arizona State.
Okay, we got some different opinions this week. I like it.
Yeah, we got a lot of different opinions, and it's good to be right and wrong all the time.
That's right. We like to play both sides. That way, I always come out on top.
And we always come out on top here because this was episode 216 of Fall Start. You can follow me, John Buhler, on Twitter and X at Buhler118. You can follow Cody Williams at the Sizzle20. You can follow the show at CFB Fall Start. Like, rate, listen, subscribe, review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere there's podcasts. Give us a 5-star review for the amount of corn dogs people are going to eat pregame at Red River, the fair.
You know, you just sparked a thought. I wonder if Red River, with it being at the Texas State Fair, has like the highest number of people puking because you got fair food mixed with a lot of alcohol from the tailgate, and that's not a good combination.
Dude, have you ever been to Jacksonville? People
I
like
mean,
people are
fair,
no.
fair. But Jacksonville's basically another country. Like that doesn't count.
Jacksonville's the only place where you can be holding a fifth of Jack Daniels, drink, take a swig, throw up under a bench, and flick off somebody from the other team, and the cop won't say anything because you're over 21.
And then bark at them, you know.
Bark at him or chomp at him, whatever you
That's
want to do.
right.
While getting sunburnt the whole time.
No, I mean like Jack. This is the non-Florida division. Let me preface it with that because Florida and Jacksonville, they're a different breed. That's not they don't operate in the same frequency that most normal humans do.
No, if Limp Bizkit was birthed in Jacksonville, what would be like a Red River band that was birthed in Fairfield?
Oh God, who would be birthed in
It's
Fairfield?
called corn dog. It's spelled corn DAWG corn dog, or or what's the fried Oreos?
Fried Oreo.
Oh man, there's gonna be a lot of people with cowboy hats. Just also the fact this game's at 3:30 Eastern as opposed to noon kick. Like,
Oh yeah, a lot more time to get the food and the alcohol flowing.
yeah, I've always thought it was weird. Like, it's at the fair. Like, there's probably people like there's some kid out there who's just like, I just want to go on the ride. And the dad's like, I want to go to the game. It's like
Yeah,
the
100. Just leave them on the Ferris
it's
wheel.
it's like the it's like the kid at the Jags Chargers playoff game where the Bullets just blew it. The kid's just swimming up in the pool. Like, I'm having the time of my life, and Jacksonville's losing like 34-7. They still win.
You want to play mermaids?
Marco Polo.
That's right.
Uh,
Hell of a game of Marco Polo going on.
dude, what's going on with the Chiefs, man?
They're fine. I mean, like truly, like people are like talking like it's doom and gloom. They're a game back in the division.
Yeah.
The Broncos and Chargers are only 3-2 ahead of them. Like Rasheed Rice comes back in 2 weeks, like they're gonna be fine. I like the dumbest thing I think we do as a society is try to end a dynasty before it's done, and it's not done.
There are only 3 teams that are halfway decent that I think, and I'm just sidetracking us here, that I think are in a really bad spot. Like, I think like it's getting bad. That'd be Baltimore,
Baltimore, yeah,
Cincinnati, and Arizona. I think that
yeah.
because like Arizona, like to lose to the Titans that way, like
And have your coach like fighting your backup running back, not great.
people hate Kyler. People, a lot of people at the State Fair hated Kyler too. It's fine.
It's kind of funny that I feel like the opinion about Kyler is far more positive outside of Arizona.
Yeah.
Like it's honestly it reminds me a little bit of like the worst side of like Cowboys fans. Like there's a ton of Cowboys fans who hate Dak, will never understand it. Dak is far from the problem with the Dallas Cowboys, but like yeah, like I think like I like Kyler. I think Kyler's a fine quarterback. I think you can win with Kyler. I think that your head coach is a dunce and not very good at his job.
Yeah, I may have overlooked that, the Andre Nozick of that team. The Bengals, I saw something that they traded for Joe Flacco, and somebody says Joe Flacco's on my flight, and he's writing
I
coach.
saw
I think
that.
that was like an older picture, but like that's how the Bengals would do.
Oh, 100%. They would make him fly in the cargo space, brother.
They make him take Amtrak.
Yeah. I also saw that going a little advanced stat nerd. The Bengals went from the worst quarterback in EPA per play added to the second worst in EPA per play
It's all about
added.
improving. And then just the Ravens are just a total
Yeah.
sad bag of crap. They haven't been bad since like the 90s. Like
I
where
mean,
they
like, I
were
think what we saw last week against the Texans is, I think, how, like, to use a very Southern phrase, but like, how much lipstick on a pig Lamar Jackson puts on this team.
Yeah, like this is as bad as it got when it ended for Brian Billick. Like we're talking like Vinny Testaverde only throwing the ball for Ted Marchibroda back in like
Yeah,
96. That's the only
100%.
thing they could do.
Yeah, it's not good. Makes me I don't know, man. Like I watched a lot of Cooper Rush as a Cowboys fan. That's not where it's not a place you want to be, especially when your defense is playing as badly as the Ravens is right now.
Yeah, I know, man. I wonder if they're outside the crying of the purple rain.
They're definitely crying in the purple rain outside of M&T Bank Stadium.
Yeah, if you don't like the world you're living in, take a look around. At least you got friends because this is False Start.